What's up, everybody? Welcome to Six Man Blitz. We're back with another episode for you guys today. So much shit to cover. Basketball, football, a lot of news swirling around in each and every sport. BET Awards last night. People said it was ghetto. I mean, that's not no. Is that new news? No, just playing. But Lil Uzi Vert, he performed one of his songs for his new album that's dropping on Friday. Really excited for this album. The marketing for the album was crazy.
Can't wait.
You saw that? I sent you the video, the anime
Insane.
video. Seemed crazy as shit.
That was one of the greatest videos I've ever seen. Like, just videos in general. Not just music, not just anime. Just, like, a body of work. Hats off to the director. I forgot who it was.
He did his shit with that, yeah.
That shit was impressive. Is he dropping a movie as well? Because that would be hot.
I thought that's what I thought. He dropped a 4-minute trailer for the album.
Man, that shit was crazy.
But no, yeah, and the features for this album, Travis Scott, Future,
Of course.
possibly Baby Keem.
Of course.
A lot of big names on this album. 25, I think it's 26 songs on this album too, so it's gonna be a long one.
Damn.
I know, but
can't wait. That Uzi.
We need some new shit to listen to. I know Jaden wasn't listening to the Gunna new album, so he was, stuck with the Thug album. The Locked Up Thug.
What do you mean stuck?
It wasn't that good. If I'm
That's a
being real.
good album to be stuck with, nigga. What are you talking about?
Besides the 2 Drake songs, I mean, he's pushing Peter
What are you talking
sweeter
about?
than any Peter pushing Peter.
He got some hits on that.
Yeah.
On that thing.
Some
and
underrated
some crazy beats.
Now, NBA free agency kicks off on Friday. A lot of, big name free agents are coming out. But the biggest one, in my heart, possibly in all of Chicago Bulls fans' heart, Drose. There's a lot of buzz of him coming back to Chicago. The Knicks declined his team option earlier last week, I think. It was like Thursday or Friday, but they declined the team option. So what do you think about that? Him coming back to Chicago, being our starting point guard.
I don't know if starting is a good idea, but I would love him back on the squad. No questions asked. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a reunion that needs to be happen. More so because of what he did for the culture and less for what he can do.
Hometown hero.
To help us win, though. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's one of those, like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, you mean too much to us not to finish your career here. Unless you want to continue to play multiple years, then we got to cut you down.
As long as it's 1 or 2 years.
No, I think a backup point guard role for him would be perfect in our situation. A young mentor for a guy like Kobe White. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a good idea for sure.
Oh, yeah. And some of the other landing spots, potentially the Suns, the Celtics, the Lakers too. So, if it's not the Bulls, what's another spot you think that fits him best? The Celtics, they need a point guard. Lakers, D'Angelo Russell. What do you think about those 3 options, other options?
Yeah, I think those are great fits. I think it depends on what he wants. He seemed like a guy that, wouldn't mind coming back to the go, you know what I'm saying? He's only been in, Midwest cities, I feel like, at this point. Has he, outside of the stop in Cleveland, where else has he been?
They had the Knicks at one time, the Timberwolves.
Oh, he went to Timberwolves, which is another Midwestern
So you're
city.
right. But the Cavs, that was a nice fun run. I thought he was gonna get him a chip. But
Nah, he been so for a while now, so I think the best spot would for him to come on home. Now, if he wants to go compete, maybe he goes to the Clippers, maybe he goes to some of these organizations that maybe need a veteran backup point guard, but I think that's his ceiling at this point in his career. So I don't think he should be too much of our free agency conversation.
it shouldn't be like the only conversation. But no, like they've been
Facts.
reporting, that the Bulls are potentially keeping their guys that they got right now. So we're gonna have the same roster. We're not blowing things up. Vooch is gonna, possibly get an extension later on in this week. They didn't trade Levine. So with that, I think, bringing Drose in there, bringing Mo Bamba, bringing some guys that can win. You never know with the East, but it's just, the health. Everybody needs to be like, if you have a healthy team going into the playoffs, anything can happen. But I just don't know with this Bulls team if it's enough to beat the Bucks, the Sixers. Those teams are going to have to beat themselves eventually with the injuries and stuff. Like I mentioned, everything's got to go the right way. But I wouldn't be mad at him coming back to Chicago. I would go to a game just to see him, back in the uniform. It would bring fans back, but I think, the Celtics and the Suns, those teams would be better teams suited for him to get a chip. Suns would be nice, but they wouldn't be able to give him too much money because we'll get into that later. But Celtics wouldn't be terrible either. Him off the bench, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I love to see him go get a ring too. Don't get me wrong. So anywhere he can go and compete, it ain't gonna be in Chicago. Especially with what you just
He
said.
could get a playing
So they
championship.
keeping it as it is.
Yeah.
God damn. I mean, come on, man. It's time to blow it up because next year you don't know what could happen. Levine could get hurt. Impact his trade value. Same thing with DeRozan. I don't like, I don't think our pieces are too far off. Like
Yeah.
extending Vooch, I don't think is a terrible idea because if you look at the bigs in the NBA, he's still above average.
18 points per
You know what
game,
I'm
like a
saying?
17.
So-
Yeah. He's decent.
Yeah, you can't be mad at
Plays
that.
every
You know what
game,
I'm saying?
too.
He has a unique
He
role.
never gets hurt. He's always,
You know what I'm saying? So I think the combo with him and Paul is good, but it's just not enough, man. You dealing with the Celtics who are freaks. They just had
Porzingis.
Porzingis. You're dealing with Embiid. You're dealing with Giannis. I mean, it's tough in the East. Bam, obviously. So,
Jimmy, yeah.
yeah. It's just, I think we have a good group of guys. We just don't have elite talent. Like, we don't have those top 10 players
Yeah. That's what you
that
need, too.
can go ahead and push you forward. And you need a top 5 player in today's NBA to actually have a championship window, it feels like. You know what I'm saying? Outside of Miami.
They have a great culture, though, so that.
It seems like that's the norm.
And really with.
And they got shooters everywhere. They got shooters everywhere. Even they got, I think, arguably the most depth in terms of shooting outside of any other team in the NBA. So that gives you a fighting chance. Combine that with the culture and Jimmy Butler and Bam's playmaking ability, defensive ability. So
Yeah, Spoelstra.
we ain't got none of that. We ain't got no shooting.
We don't.
Zero.
We added Pat Bev like
So-
that was going to do something, but we don't.
Oh, come on.
Shooting
now.
wise, I mean.
I think if we can surround Vooch, Levine, and DeRozan with 2 snipers, we might have an opportunity, but that's easier said than done. And then we also need a point guard, so a point guard that can shoot the shit out the
What
ball.
about Van
So,
Fleet? What do you think about bringing him to Chicago? He's another rumored spot.
that's one move I really like, honestly. I think that would be a great fit offensively. Defensively, though, I mean, you got Vooch still, Levine, and DeRozan. I mean, not necessarily known for defense, so it kind of hampers you on the other side of the court. But he's a bona fide starter in this league, and he can shoot the ball well, and he's a point guard. So why not?
He would help. And I think just having guys, retaining guys, you get a guy like Mo Bamba in there that helps with defense. You get keep a guy like Caruso, and Pat Williams, the paw. He's a younger Kawhi, less, skilled, obviously.
We gotta throw that comp out.
But
the
he's
window at this
available.
point. He's got to take the next step next year. I mean, come on, man. Niggas can't be calling you Paul with no Paul. you ain't out here falling shit.
Right. But I do like the Fred VanVleet move. I like some of the moves that we can make, but it's just going to be tough. But we talked a little about the Celtics, right? Porzingis, what did you think about this move and what it does for the Celtics' chances in the East? Because they had to give up Marcus Smart.
I think you do that every day of the week, and that's why they were easily willing to let go of him. Porzingis adds a unicorn to an already crazy talented team. I mean, you look at the Celtics and the way they're built, extremely athletic, extremely long, and then you add another guy to that mix that can also shoot the three.
Damn.
Defensively, I mean, he had one of his best years last year, period, too. So you get a guy that was undervalued in a market like Washington to come over to Boston and compete with championships. I think the way they've been able to build this roster is by far one of the best in the NBA. Now it's time for them to actually get over the hump, and I think this is the move that does
They've been in there,
so they're my favorite, in my opinion.
Yeah, Brad Stevens.
I don't give a fuck. I mean, looking at, and this is almost a year from now, but looking at an NBA Finals matchup with Phoenix and Boston, I mean,
bold prediction.
That's a crazy NBA Finals with KD, with the long wings that Boston has. Add Porzingis to the mix. I mean, that's amazing. I got Boston winning, and I think that's the move that needed to get them over the hump and also extend their championship window. People are talking about trading one of the two, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I'm like, why? That'd be
stupid,
idiotic. You literally, NBA teams would die for the talent they have between those two players and the age of them as well. Like, that would be ridiculous.
Experience too. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals damn near every year since they came into the league. So they've been, been there in the moment, and Porzingis adds the shooting. He's not a terrible defender. He blocks shots every now and then. So it was a good move for him. And I really like what they got going. Brad Stevens, I think him as the GM in that role, he might be a better GM than he was a coach, and that says a lot because he was a pretty damn good coach. So I like the moves he's been making. On the other side, though, what do you think Marcus Smart brings to the Grizzlies? Because people are like, yeah, he's more of what Dylan Brooks thought he was.
Yeah, I mean, he's former defensive player of the year. You bring a veteran into that locker room. I think that helps. It also helps with the Ja suspension, and everybody's already saying that. So I think it's a good move, but like in terms of getting them over the hump or changing their trajectory, I think it's a building block, but by no means is it the move the Boston got. Yeah. I mean, anytime you can trade an undersized guard for a unicorn and picks, like I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around some of these decisions by other teams. How does Boston get better and get more picks? Like that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And the Grizzlies.
I know Marcus Smart was valuable and he was great for them, and he shot that three to extend, or he shot the three but missed it, and then my man tipped it in.
Right.
Pause. Yeah, right. But you know what I'm saying. I think it was time for him to go. The flopping is excessive.
And defensively, he was regressing. I mean, people are saying Derek White now is like, you have Derek White, a guy that's going to step up and do his things, make the shots, defend well, do things better. Now, that eases the pain of letting Marcus Smart go because you still got Derek White, Brogdon. So, and Derek White showed up.
And look at what Porzingis is still an anchor defensively. Like, don't ever get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? He blocks shots just as good as anybody in the NBA. So, adding that to your defense, especially with the depth you have, obviously with who was their center this year?
Robert Williams, Horford.
The two centers they have, Robert Williams and Al Horford's obviously only getting older. So I think they add another great piece to a deep defensive team.
Yeah, I really liked it. So, you say, Boston versus Phoenix. That's an early finals prediction. That's interesting. I like it. But let's talk about another dynasty. The Celtics aren't a dynasty yet, but the Warriors, a great defensive player, Draymond Green. Rumors are swirling. the Kings are trying to get him, and that's they're trying to heat it up because they got the money. Draymond Green on the Kings. How do you feel that changes? How do you feel that impacts their championship window or their chances to get a championship?
If I was Draymond, that doesn't sound like a bad idea if you're trying to extend.
No, it doesn't. They give him the bag too.
Your run.
They got money.
Oh yeah, and you get in the bag too. Where I don't think Golden State would want to overspend on him, but the market's out there. Everybody's interested in his services. I'm even here in Portland.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. Right before we started the show.
Yeah, Portland's interested. That would be a fantastic fit. And then that'll help, Nurkic stay out of foul trouble. And then obviously defensively will help because of Lillard's undersized and Scoot Henderson as well. But he's also great defensively too. So that would be a nice fit. He's not going there though. I think he stays in California. Whether it's the Lakers or the Warriors, obviously, and then Sacramento. But I think he stays. But I love the fit in Sacramento, too, because those young guys are only getting better. De'Aaron Fox has proven that he's the top 10 talent in this league. And he went toe-to-toe with a top 5 player, and it was hard to dispute who got the best of who. Obviously, Steph went bananas in Game 7, so you got to give him the nod. But moving forward, if we're projecting, Sacramento is at the top of the West.
Oh, yeah.
If they add Draymond.
I mean, they were already damn near, like the 3rd seed. The Warriors series, if De'Aaron Fox doesn't hurt his hand, they could win that series potentially and go on and play the Lakers. But De'Aaron Fox, he was one of those young stars. You see Jamal Murray, get to the stage and ball out and prove he belongs there. De'Aaron Fox, I believe, did that this playoffs too. So some of those pieces they got, all the shooters they have, they're just missing a guy like Draymond, a leader, that leadership, can defend, play defense. Him and Sabonis together, they have some, shit they battled with in the playoffs, the net shot, all that stuff. But those two together, it would be great to see those guys, those talented bigs. And Draymond on a lot of teams, like you mentioned, he could have an impact. Detroit Pistons, they would give him a bag. He could go home. The Miami Heat is another spot. But
ain't nobody going to Detroit. I don't give a fuck if you from there. Ain't nobody going there from the Bay.
Right.
Come on, man. That would be crazy.
It's just an option. But then looking at, the Warriors, obviously they're going to be able to try to get it done. Getting rid of Jordan Peele was a big thing because they got off that contract, and his contract was huge, one of the, biggest in the league. So getting rid of him and sending him to Washington, that was able to, work things out, have him some extra money. But with the Warriors, though, Mike Dunleavy's making moves. He got Chris Paul. Do you possibly see them getting rid of Clay, too? Because I feel like they're not done. I'm hearing a lot of people saying they're not done making moves either. So, what do you think about another big move, possibly getting rid of Clay?
It can't be done.
I wouldn't want them to get rid of Clay.
No, I don't. I wouldn't want them to get rid of Clay. I think during the regular season, he had a pretty solid year. He's never going to be back to his top, but the older he gets, he's still a shooter, so you can still have him in a certain role, whether that's coming off the bench with CP3. You've seen they just drafted another guard who can shoot the shit out of the ball.
A big man that can shoot too.
He could kind of mentor him more into that starting role as the season progresses. So I like him in the rotation.
Okay.
As the starter on a playoff team, you could tell that wasn't a good idea. So
switch up his role a little, yeah.
But yeah, I think switching the role up, he still has a year left. So why wouldn't you keep him?
Right, and he's coming up on an extension too. So things could get tricky with the money because paying Draymond, Clay, some of the other young bucks they got, Andrew Wiggins too. So it could be interesting. I'm interested to see what Mike Dunleavy does with this roster. But getting back to, Portland, Dame, and all that talks, Draymond going to Portland, maybe that could be an option. But what are some other destinations you like for Dame other than Miami?
Oh, man. Other than Miami, I think the Clippers
Oof.
would be a
They can make that
fantastic
happen,
fit.
yeah.
I think the Lakers, obviously,
Hmm.
which would be
They would have to give
crazy.
up Austin, though. I think they
Um,
would give up Austin. Maybe
oh, I
I
would,
would too.
because you got to look at LeBron's window, and it's like, okay, we're either going all in or we're trading
Mhm.
everybody. You're not trading LeBron James, so you gotta go all in, and that's kind of the gift and the curse with a guy like LeBron who has so much gravity towards him. It's like you have no choice but to go all in.
Right.
So you got to go all in and at least pitch the guy. I mean, he should at least be in the conversation. We should be putting a package together. But at the same time, they ain't got no draft capital,
No,
do
they
they?
don't. They can't.
So yeah, they might be out of the mix.
I know people were
They
saying
might not. It
Philly,
might cost them too much.
like, but that's if Harden leaves, right? If he decides to leave, but you would have to,
I don't think Harden's leaving
you would
though.
have to give up Maxi in that, I think, and I don't think Philly wants to
Right,
do
you're
that.
gonna have to give up
I don't
something.
think Philly would want to give up Maxi.
Maxi, Tobias, and a hella picks.
I'd give up Tobias. I'd be like,
Oh
just
yeah,
take his ass.
take that nigga now. But outside of that, I mean, the obvious is the obvious. I think Miami, the Bulls need to put a situation in front of them, though. Honestly, we need to go ahead and put a package together. Like, why aren't we in these
Give up to
conversations?
Paul.
Doesn't make
Give him
sense.
Paul. Give him Kobe.
We got to be giving up draft
Yeah.
capital.
So I was talking to Jake today earlier, and he was telling me he was watching the Bill Simmons podcast or whatever, and he was saying how Bill Simmons was mentioning the Timberwolves. Now they probably would have the best offer to the Trailblazers because they possibly give up Cat in that deal. You give up Cat, they get a big who's still young, still in the prime of his career. You move forward with Dame and Anthony Edwards, but the thing with that, they probably have some picks too. But the thing with that is how much better are you in the West? If you stay in the West, I think that might not be as appealing to him.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna trade him to somewhere he doesn't want to go just because what he's done for that franchise. And does he have a no trade
He
clause?
doesn't.
I'm not sure.
But like his contract is high enough where it's kind of the same thing as like a no trade clause. Like it's a lot. His
Yeah,
contract's high.
like
So
you don't want to trade for a guy that worth you're gonna invest that much in who doesn't want to be
right,
there. So yeah,
could be a 1-year deal type shit.
that makes sense.
But I like the Timberwolves because Anthony Edwards and Dame would be nice. It was a nice, like choice, but it's just like, the West being the West. So many teams that can be a playoff team next year. Pelicans, if they're healthy. The Thunder even are making moves. A lot of teams are making moves. The Jazz just got John Collins for pennies. That shit was for pennies, bro. A second-round pick at Rudy Gay.
That's crazy.
Rudy,
crazy.
I mean, this ain't 2K. Rudy Gay is nice on 2K,
Yeah.
but not in real life.
I had to reread that. I'm like, who? Rudy Gay. He's still
right. So it just doesn't. I mean, it didn't make sense. The Hawks were just trying to get off that contract. What it seems, and they did get off that contract. So they're gonna, try to get be like, very, making moves in the free agency, making moves for trades, and build around Trae Young and Murray. So we'll see how that goes. But the Jazz, with the draft class they had, it was pretty good. They got really good, talented players, and John Collins with marketing. It's gonna be nice. They have a nice future set up.
Yeah. As well as many picks as they possibly could do with, you know what I'm saying? So I think they're going to do a slow build, especially with the front office that they have. So they're going to have to build through the draft and trades, much like every other small market team in the NBA.
It's going to be crazy, though. Think about it. Like, all these teams that have all these picks and have these young talent and have these, like, rosters that you could see be good potentially down the road. What do you think is going to happen, though, when, Bronny James leaves USC after 1 year and he comes in the draft and one of those teams get those lottery picks and LeBron, wherever his son's going to be at, he's probably going to potentially go. So that could be like, you see these teams, make those moves for that direction. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. Like 1 or 2 years, Bronny and LeBron could be on my team with all this capital that I got and this young roster that's ascending.
For sure. I'm interested to see what his first year at USC looks like.
Oh, hey, his jersey finna do numbers too, for sure.
Oh man, NIL. His NIL valuation is top 3.
And he hasn't even stepped on the court yet, which is crazy.
Right, exactly. But he's already in commercials and shit. Was he in? He was in the Guardians of the Galaxy commercial or some shit.
Maybe
he was in a big, a multi-million-dollar commercial. I'll just say
that's crazy though. Like, imagine being at USC, being a student there. You know, go to the free football games. Got Caleb Williams, who's going to be that next guy, and then you got the basketball games. Bronny.
And USC is going to be lit. Yeah,
and it's California.
It's going to be like when what's my man's name? Loving Basketball when they was there. It's going to be that
Omar Epps.
Omar Epps hooped for USC.
And the girls' basketball team was
some games looking fire. Yeah.
Right. But now, so Chris Haynes or some NBA reporter came out and said that, you know, the Suns are going to move forward with DeAndre Ayton. I think this is a mistake. And, you know, after this news today, what they came out and said, the Suns were working out Jabari Parker, who hasn't played in an NBA game in years, and some other guys that haven't played in years. So, you know, because not moving DeAndre Ayton, you know, doesn't allow you to get that, you know, value back, get some assets, some guys who can get on this roster, get off that contract possibly. So right now they're stuck with 4 guys, and you can only get minimum deals. So it's a tough situation. I mean, DeAndre Ayton's going to be good, especially with Frank Vogel. I think he's going to be able to get more out of him in a new system. So
yeah,
I just don't know how many guys can you get, good guys that can, you know, potentially, you know, do well on this roster with minimum deals, all of them.
Man, you're going to have to get a bunch of – you're definitely going to have to call Pat Bev. Who else is good at defense? You might have to call
his buddy that –
you're definitely going to have to try to get P.J. Walker.
His buddy that he does a podcast with. Fucking Pat Bev.
Oh, yeah, white homie.
That's how it's going to be looking. It's going to be filling the roster out with fucking random dudes.
Man, at the end of the day, their top 4 is I'm taking over a
lot of teams.
Everybody in the NBA,
especially if healthy. I mean, you look at what's the dude, Michael Beasley. Maybe you might give him a call. I know he ain't been in the league for a minute, but he out here hooping in China. He hooping somewhere.
That's a good one.
But J.R. Smith, you know, the Tristan Thompson, those kind of guys, shit.
Yeah, all the old heads come on through. Let's go ahead and chase these rings.
I know LaMarcus Aldridge just retired, but call him back, see how his heart's doing. See if he's good.
Nah, bro. I said defense.
Yeah, you just a scorer.
Defense take heart.
Wild statement.
No disrespect, of course.
But
I couldn't resist myself though.
So Wemby, right? He's now officially a Spur, and people are already, you know, saying he's a top 10 player in the NBA right now. What are your thoughts on that? Is too much hype, or does he deserve that yet?
We've never seen anything like it, and we say that about every prospect we've never seen like, and he deserves every bit of that. I mean, what he was able to do in France at 18 blows my mind. I mean, it almost feels like basketball prophecy. The fact that the Spurs got this man. It was already written that he was supposed to be the greatest player of all time.
He was hanging out with Tim Duncan, David Robinson, all the...
Like, come on now. Like, you couldn't have found a perfect situation. Pop, I'm happy for him because, you know what I'm saying, you could tell he's doing this because this is all he knows and he loves this, you know what I'm saying? Anytime you're doing it at this age, he lost his wife earlier, and you know, so I think this was just a great opportunity for him to just, you know, get another chance at doing what he loves to do, and that's compete at a very high level. And you have to have the best talent to do that. And now he has the greatest prospect ever.
But
So I'm excited to see what the Spurs look like.
he's gonna definitely have a huge impact. But with their management, how they manage guys, you think he's gonna play a lot of games? You think he's gonna play 82 games? He's gonna miss some games.
I mean, how many games are in the France league?
No clue.
He'll be fine. You put him out here there until he gets hurt, and then if he gets hurt, then we readjust.
He's been doing a good job with that too.
82 games.
They say he's really mindful of that. He's not playing in the World Cup.
You could tell he's intelligent. I mean, he put his starting five. He picked. I mean, he arguably picked. Outside of, you could probably swap Shaq with Jokic depending on the style you like, but his top five was, you could tell he's a student of the game. And
he had to throw Tim Duncan in there too, just to show the great.
Oh yeah, Tim is the best power forward of all time though. He's got 5 of them things. Like, come on,
he got dreads now too. You see?
Of course, he's on the staff, right?
I think so. I think he's assistant coach or something.
Yeah, I think so.
But you mentioned though.
So yeah, I'm excited.
You mentioned Wemby's starting 5 against the Monstars. So hey, what is your starting 5? Would you make any changes?
I think it depends on the fit, because you could put Jokic on that team.
Okay, so you would put Jokic
because he's gonna facilitate.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying. He's gonna get the boards. He's gonna take the ball up the court and play point. But LeBron does that same thing too. So I'm keeping his starting 5. And for context, it was Steph, it was
Jordan,
Mike,
LeBron,
it was LeBron,
Tim Duncan, and Shaq.
I mean, that's who I would have picked.
I have no problem with it.
That's who I would have.
I have no problem with it.
No problem at all. But I would have picked that exact same.
For
5.
mine, I'd probably throw KD in there. I think I would put Curry, Jordan, LeBron, KD, and Shaq. I think we give the Monstars some go. As long as the Monstars didn't take Wemby's, starting 5's talent. They weren't stealing, because the dudes in the era today, they made another Space Jam based on the first one. They were stealing dudes' talent today. The Monstars would be cold. They took Jokic's talent. I mean, they took, Giannis's talent. Shit. It would be tough.
Man. Very tough. And I'm taking Timmy over KD, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay. Just, it's by your fit, how you feel, I'm not gonna hate on it or nothing. But so let's switch over to the NFL now. We got some great topics, stuff to cover. Mostly AFC East now. So, the Jets, they've, bracing for being selected in the Hard Knocks. How would you feel about this? Them being the Hard Knocks. Would you watch it? I don't think I watched the Cowboys one. I think it was last year or the year before.
Yeah, once I stopped playing football, I stopped giving a fuck about shows like this.
It's cool every now and then, but...
Right, like, I don't really give a fuck about training camp, bro.
Right.
But the Jets will be entertaining. Let the Bears get
That's what I thought the Bears were going to do. I would have been fully locked in if I was seeing Justin Fields in their, training camp, because obviously that's our favorite team. We would be locked in with it. DJ Moore, the defense, how it's going. But
I'd be locked in.
Fuck. No, I wouldn't miss an episode.
Nah. But if you're an NFL team, you don't want to have hard knocks. You want to be focused on what's important.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Guys be trying to turn into stars and shit.
Actors.
Trying to get brand deals, trying to show off their personality. Like, nah, bro. That's cool. Do that shit on TikTok. Let's get on this field. Get some work in.
A day in the life of an NFL player. But hey,
like JJ Watt, like, they was hyping him up because he went out. Like, remember that famous Hard Knocks scene where after practice he's out there till the sun goes down working on his pass rush moves and shit, and they were like, oh, this guy he doing it for the camera.
Right, like they record him do that shit, and then what happens? They're like, all right, you're good, you're done. Just give us 2 runs. Like,
right, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not questioning his work ethic, but you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, all right, what's done in the dark shown in the light, and we don't need to see all the hard work. We just need to see the performance on Sunday.
Right. And a thing about that too, Hard Knocks, is you get to see like that growth and stuff. Like, you don't get to be under the radar, basically. So if the Bears, we want to go from worst to first, that shit wouldn't be under the radar. Whereas if we had Hard Knocks, but if we don't, nobody knows what we got cooking. So
for sure.
So it's good that we didn't get into the Jets, but sticking to the AFC East, let's go to the Patriots. Now, Dalvin Cook, there's rumors swirling that he's going to go to the Patriots. Him and Hopkins want to team up. So Dalvin Cook and Hopkins on the Patriots. How would you feel about that?
Say basketball, nigga.
Right.
It's not basketball. I don't think the Patriots make that move. Number one, he's a running back. They're not overpaying for him. And they got Ramondre Stevenson, who
had 1,000 yards,
1,500 yards last year.
Successful year, so
all purpose. So he's going to be their feature back. I don't see Dalvin Cook fit wise that making sense.
I don't either.
So I don't know where he ends up, but I would like him in Buffalo, honestly.
Him in Buffalo with his brother. Dolphins would be nice too. They would be OP as hell though, but somebody was saying the Jets too.
Dolphins would be crazy.
The Jets don't make sense either because they already got Breece Hall. So, man.
But he's still coming off injury, so I don't dislike that move for them. They're gonna focus on running the ball anyways. So I like that move as well. But yeah, it's tough for running backs, man.
It's the hardest position in the league with how they've been paid.
It's tough. You ain't getting no love, nigga. You ain't getting no love.
It's tough.
So go ahead. Outside of like the 1%, which is like Christian McCaffrey, obviously. Even Austin Eckler struggling.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs. No deal.
Barkley got tagged, so
led the league in rushing. So Barkley, another guy who got tagged. So they ain't out here. I could pay 3 guys $5 million and have the same production with less injuries.
It's fucked up, man.
Like, you don't. The unfortunate part about the running back position is you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. If your feature running back gets hurt, which he will, you're screwed.
Yeah, and they get a lot of carries.
Whereas if you got if you got a stable of them, you can rotate them, keep them fresh throughout the entire season. So it's just a smart way to play football, as well as the value of the running backs only getting worse. So it's the ugly part of the business. I wouldn't have back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanted to be the running back.
It's cool,
especially if you couldn't throw. You know what I'm saying? So but that's different now. Everybody want to play quarterback or receiver.
Right. It's tough.
So,
but
games change.
So we talked about the Dolphins. We talked about the Jets, Patriots. Let's rank this division. Who do we have winning this division? Who do we have still making the playoffs? And who do we have finishing last? Let me get your thoughts.
Man, that's tough because you look at the Bills and what they didn't do. I don't see them having the same success they did last year.
They're still thin at receiver, too.
Man, defense coordinator left, too. I just don't like it. I mean, I don't like where they're at. Everybody else got better, except for, the Patriots haven't made any moves yet.
Yeah.
But you look at what the Dolphins were able to do. You look at what the Jets obviously were able to do. Like, they were a quarterback away. So I like the Jets to win this division.
Okay, all right.
If I'm being completely honest with you.
Who you got finishing second?
Defensively, they were one of the best. Okay. Second, I got the Bills finishing second. I think Tua, we've seen this story again. He's hurt. He need to get hurt the first half of the season, not the second half.
Right, it's the worst time to get hurt. You never in the playoff games.
You got to get hurt the first half. He come out the gate. I mean, last year, MVP
candidate. For real, yeah.
Best, QBR, completion percentage, all that shit was through the roof. But you know what I'm saying? It's unsustainable with a quarterback that's light in the ass. significantly light in the ass, and I think that's why Bryce Young is going to struggle. But I like the Jets to come out on top. I think the Bills sneak in the second, and then I got Miami and the Patriots last. But it's going to be one of the best divisions
I
in
think so
football.
too.
I think the Patriots they finish at 9-7, 8-9, one of those records. Whereas I think everybody's going to beat everybody up. I don't think anybody's going to sweep anybody.
I don't think so either.
So it's going to
those
be
games are going to go.
it's going to be a fun
Yeah.
division to watch from afar. Even last year it was fun to watch that division. Just the contrast, all the different styles. You look at Miami, hot, speed. Then you go to Buffalo, which is I don't know how they made these divisions up.
It's just crazy.
And then you got New York, and then New England, obviously. So, I mean, that's a fun division to watch and a lot of talent. So, I think the Patriots still need to make more moves.
And I don't think Mac Jones is going to get it
D-Hop.
done, though. I don't think he's, on the level of the other quarterbacks. No. Even Tua with him.
No, he's the worst quarterback in that division.
And you can't win a division like that.
Belichick knows any better, you can't. You can't win with the worst quarterback in your division. I don't give a fuck if you're the greatest coach of all time. So
Right. But how I got this division playing out, I got the Dolphins winning it. And then I got the Bills finishing second, and then I got the Jets third. So, and then the Patriots last, of course. I think you had it the Jets. No, you had Jets, Bills, Dolphins, and then Patriots. But so we're not on the same page with this one, a little flip flop, but we'll make sure to post both of those and not just one. I care about your opinion here at Six Man Blitz. So, but that's our ranking of the AFC East. Thank you guys for watching. That's the show for today. Keep staying up with us. We'll keep giving you updates. We're possibly going to make an NBA video. Free agency starts on Friday. So we're going to keep covering stuff that's, the biggest news in sports, NFL, NBA, maybe MLB. Maybe I'll do a BT video. Who knows? Who knows what you see? Just stay up.
Let's stay in our lane. Let's stay in our lane.
Stay up to date with what we got cooking. And, Six Man Blitz Twitter, Six Man Blitz Instagram, the TikTok, all of that. So you never miss our content. But like I said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. As always, peace. Happy Juneteenth Day. Make sure we put that out first. Give the recognition. It's an important day, a great day. I worked today. Made sure we had chicken, mac and cheese, all that. All the good stuff. And we got time and a half.